Okay guys, welcome to my CSGO strategy book. We're going to talk about basic tactics on DE Dust 2. We're going to talk about a default tactic, a long A site tactic, short A tactic, close short A, split A from CT, a B site smoke tactic, a split B site tactic, and we'll cover a few extra grenades as well. So first, a default setup or a picking strategy. So this is where you're going to aim to get picks across the map and then push based depending on where you got your picks from or depending on where you're forcing rotates to come from. Dust 2 is a picking heavy map which lends itself to this strategy quite well. You can pick either the long A doors, short A, middle or the B tunnels, with the middle, short and long A being the most viable. Usually you leave one person at long doors to make sure they don't push, maybe to try to get a pick through long and pull back if needed. 1 to 2 guys in the B tunnels to try and get a pick or stop them pushing, but most of your forces in the middle area. This allows you to get a pick at short or a pick in middle and rotate based on that. The long guy, if he gets a pick, could push out long, forcing the A guys onto the A side, or he could rotate down to middle if he can't get one, helping the guys push up short, or helping them push through the middle area. If the pick happens in middle, they can push mid to B, or they can push up short, depending on where they're forcing the rotates. The B guys can push B if they get a pick, or they can rotate down to tunnels if they want to help out mid. So we're going to talk about a long A site smoke execute. So this is where you're going to have most of your forces run out long, and maybe one in middle or in the B tunnels to stop or rotate, or to force the enemies to think about another direction. So you have 3 to 5 guys out long, maybe 1 guy in middle to either help out at short or stop rotates, and 1 guy in B tunnels. Let's look at the smokes. So there's a smoke at long A and a smoke at the crossover. These smokes stop AWPers very well. Molotovs for upper car and for the site. Let's have a look at how to do these. So this first smoke will smoke off the corner at long, blocking off any AWPers trying to peek the long doors and allowing you to get in pit without having to worry about A site. So this blocks off the AWPers quite nicely and blocks off the edge of pit so you can jump in. You can do this from close up at the long doors if you wish, just be careful if you peek out slightly too far you can get picked by an AWP. But it does cover it off quite nicely. You want to make it so it goes out a little bit out of the long corner so you can actually get into pit. The crossover smoke, the most important smoke of this strategy. This stops rotates from CT spawn running up to A ramp. And this also stops AWPers trying to pick you as you cross. So you can do a running smoke from here, or you can just do a normal smoke to smoke the cross. Beware, there can be gaps occasionally, as you can see on the right hand side here. So you got to make sure your smoke is perfect, or you double smoke it, or you flash, or you jump across the gap. Molotovs, the Molotov off the car, you can do a long Molotov here. Molotovs off the car quite nicely, forcing them out of that position. To Molotov off the site or behind the first box, you can throw it here, it lands on top of the box, and Molotovs them back. Flashbangs, you can flash over long, this will flash anyone watching there with an AWP, or any rifles, and in pit as well. You can pop flash at the doors here. This will flash people watching with an AWP, forcing them back, or close up. It will not flash pit. Once you get out long, you can flash over the top here. This will flash people at Goose, at CT, and at car. You can also flash over this wall. If you're close up and you know there's nobody on site, this will flash short and CT. Now for a short A site smoke execute. So this is where you're going to hit most of your forces from short, and maybe a couple at long or at the B site just to distract. Your short guys can either go through mid or from lower tunnels depending on how you want to run the strategy. Usually you have 3 to 5 guys up short, 1 guy at long if you want to, and 1 guy at B tunnels if you want to. The smokes here are for mid and for Xbox and for the crossover. The crossover smoke helps with forcing the rotates to not happen so easily. Molotovs are for cubby, for site and for goose. So the first smoke is to smoke off the mid doors here. This can be thrown from T-spawn as you spawn if you wish. It doesn't block you running up short, so you'll need the Xbox smoke as well. But it does block anyone trying to pick you as you run down mid or run across from lowers. You can throw this out here if you don't want to throw it being watched by an AWP. It lands quite nicely. You can throw it out here. There's lots of places to throw this smoke. Just make sure you're not visible to an AWPer when you throw it, otherwise it could be devastating. You can also throw it from the lower tunnels area if you want to go that way. To throw the Xbox smoke, you can throw this from T-spawn. This can be tricky, and there are lots of smokes that you can do, and you just got to make sure which one works for you. So you can throw this from T-spawn. You can throw this just off the edge of T-spawn here. Remember, just find out which one works for you and just use that one. And don't try to expose yourself as you're throwing these smokes, otherwise you could die and therefore you don't have that smoke anymore. This is a very useful smoke for getting up short. It stops any AWPers trying to pick you as you cross. If they're playing a rifle, it's a little less useful, and the mid smoke may be the only one that you need. Again, you could just flash out the AWPers as you're running up short if you want to. To smoke off CT, you can just do this from here. This stops the rotate, and allows you to get up A site with ease, not having to worry about the ramp there. For the cubby molotov, you can just throw this from here. This just forces them out of cubby into your crosshairs if they're there. For the site molotov, you're going to aim a bit above the pizza sign. Molotov's off the site, forcing them out of there. Goose, you have to expose yourself to Goose, but if you think they're playing back in Goose, you can throw a molotov there as well. Flashbangs, you can flash over this wall to flash site. It doesn't flash into Goose, but it does flash quite nicely on the site, and it flashes at the car if there's an AWP there. You can get a bit more angled here and flash if you want to, which will flash back at the car over this wall, flashing any AWPers, and it will also flash Goose. And CT as well. Alright, now let's have a look at a close short A side execute. This is going to be where you're going to smoke it off closely. This is where you're going to have most of your forces coming from the short area, and maybe a couple at long, or at B, depending on how you want to play it. So you have 3 to 5 at short, and maybe one in the B tunnels, or one at long, just to distract or provide an alternate route. So the smokes here are going to be a mid smoke, a close short smoke, a barrel smoke, and a sight smoke, and another sight smoke as well. This completely blocks off the sight and long, just short, allowing you to get the bomb down easily. It is a heavy smoke strategy, so just be careful. So the mid smoke, you can throw this from T-spawn quite nicely. It blocks off mid. It doesn't block off short, so you got to make sure you flash out any AWPers who are playing there, as you're not using an Xbox smoke for this strategy. To do the mid smoke, you can smoke it from many different directions. Do the one that you feel like is easiest for you, that works the best, and doesn't expose yourself to any AWPers playing mid. I'm sure you can find others as well. You can also smoke this off from the lower tunnels area quite nicely, if you want to go that way. This is almost required if you're going up short. So this next smoke here allows you to get out part of the way of short without having to worry about the AWPer at long. This allows you to get out just to the left here without having to worry about the AWPer. You can throw flashbangs through this smoke to flash the AWPer off if you don't want to waste another smoke crossing onto the side. This next smoke will smoke it off just a little further along at the corner area, allowing you to get further across to the side quite nicely. So with these smokes you're slowly getting positions onto the site. This next smoke is for the next part of the site. You're going to be planting in the smoke, so you can plant for short in the smoke and just keep control of short. Again, you can flash through these smokes if you want to, forcing them back. This final smoke will smoke off the side area. It means you're not having to worry about Goose or the site when you're planting the bomb. You can use some of these if you wish. You don't need to use all of them, but some are much more useful than others. The molotovs for cubby Molotov out cubby and wait till they walk into your crosshair if they're there. You can Molotov off the site, so you don't need to worry about that position. And you can Molotov off Goose as well, if you want to. You're not going to be pushing Goose, but you can just force them out there. Flashbangs, you can flash over this wall. It flashes lots of places on the site. It doesn't flash back in Goose though. You can also flash through these smokes again. But there's this wall here you can flash over if you want to, if you don't want to expose yourself while you're flashing. So as you see here, if there's a smoke there, I could throw a flash, and it just flash out there, and flash everybody watching. Alright, now we'll look at one of the most common strategies, which is the split A-site strategy. This is where you're going to hit long and short at the same time, with about half your forces on each. You can have a guy at B tunnels just to distract and hold the rotates. So you're going to have about 2 to 3 guys at long, and 2 to 3 guys at short. Now it depends how easily you can get control of long. You could possibly only have 2 guys or 1 even if you want to, and how easily you can get control of short. The smokes are mid, Xbox and crossover, and the long corner. Molotovs are for car, for sight, and for goose, and for cubby. Let's have a look at how to do these. So the first smoke is a mid smoke. There are lots of ways of doing this smoke. Pick the one that is right for you. You can smoke it from T-spawn, from the right of T-spawn, from top mid, anywhere the way you think it would be easiest for you to smoke, and where you've got position and how quick you can smoke it, how quick you want your strategy to be. Some smokes take a little bit longer than others to pop, and some take a little bit longer than others to set up. You can also smoke this from the lower tunnels areas if you wish. If you're coming from that direction you have a smoke. It's quite a nice smoke. It's very hard to fail, but it does require you being in lower tunnels, and they can get a good glimpse of top mid. For the Xbox smoke, this smoke can be tricky, so just make sure you practice it beforehand. Again, as the mid smoke, there are lots of ways of doing this smoke. Pick the one that is easiest for you and that works the most. So you can do this from T-spawn, from the right side of mid here. And just be careful, the jumping smokes work different on different tick servers. So it depends on what tick you want to do, depends on whether you can do the jump smokes or not. The easiest way of doing this smoke is probably from the lower tunnels area. However, that does require getting to the lower tunnels. As you can see, this smokes off the Xbox area quite nicely. To do the long corner smoke, you can just throw it from outside long. There are a few ways of doing this. Some take a bit longer to pop than others, but you want to get it so it pops slightly to the right of the wall there, so you can jump into pit without people on site noticing. You can do this from inside bedroom as well. Just be careful, if you peek too far here you can get caught by an AWPer. But it does pop sooner than the other smoke. Once you're out long, to smoke the crossover, you can do a running smoke from here. Again, it changes based on tick rate, so just be careful and practice it before you go. Now this one smokes off back in CT. You still have to worry about cutout area, so just be careful. If you don't want to have to worry about cutout too much, you can smoke up close here. This can leave a gap, so just be careful and make sure you get it right. But you do have to worry about people running into this smoke, as they're liable to do. Short, you can just pop a smoke over the end there if you want to. If you got one and your long guys haven't crossed yet. This does leave you exposed, but it's an okay version. Molotovs to Molotov off cubby. You can just throw it from short and just hold the angle. To Molotov off car. Again, you can throw it from long and just hold the angle as you would with the cubby Molotov. For Molotov off sight, there are a few ways of doing this. You can throw from long here. This does leave you exposed while you're throwing it, so just be careful. You can throw it from short, which is a lot less exposed. And Molotov's off sight a bit better. You have to worry about first box there. To Molotov off goose, you can just throw it from short as well. The flashbangs, you can throw a running flash over long doors. This flashes any AWPers and anyone in pit quite nicely. And anyone playing the blue box. To do a pop flash at long doors here, you can just do an underarm throw. This will only flash people AWPing or people playing at blue box. Once you get control of long, you can flash through here. This will flash Goose and anyone in CT cutout area and at the car. If you're in short, you can flash over this wall here. This will flash anybody playing outside of Goose, on the site, at car as well. You can do a slightly more angled flash as well. This will flash anybody playing back at car. It may flash along people, so just be careful. And anyone back at Goose. And anyone in CT ramp as well. Alright, now we're going to look at a B bomb site smoke execute. This is where you're going to go most of your people in B, and maybe one at long or middle, just to distract. So you're going to have about 3 to 5 guys in the B tunnels, and maybe one in mid, or one at long just to distract, or provide a slightly alternate route. The smokes here are going to be for the platform, for the door, and for the window. And the molotovs are going to be for the back of plat, for the fence area, and for car. And under window as well. You don't need to throw all these molotovs, just the ones where you think they're going to be playing, or the places you haven't really checked. Let's have a look. So the first smoke, to smoke off the platform so you don't have to worry about any AWPers, you can smoke it out like this. So this smokes off any AWPers, you can run around this smoke, check car without them worrying about it, flash through it if you want to. Smoke off door, you have to be outside tunnels to do this. It does leave you exposed, so just be careful. But it is almost a required smoke to smoke off the doors here. And again, window, you've got to be outside the tunnel. Smoke off window. But it is a very good smoke to do as well. So this strategy works really well if they're playing defensive on B, only one guy on B and one guy rotating. Molotovs are all going to be from the tunnels area. Some do leave you a bit more exposed, like that one leaves you quite exposed. And that one does also leave you a bit exposed as well, so just be careful. The car molotov leaves you really exposed, but you can molotov off car if you know they're playing there. Just be careful. Flashbangs, you can do a running flash here. This will flash lots of places on the site. And at the door as well, which is really useful. If you're on the left side of the tunnel, you can throw a flashbang that will land on top of the box. This will flash lots of places on site, even if they're hiding. It'll flash them as well. If you're outside tunnels, you can bang against the left side of this wall here. If you want to flash car, this will flash car and door, and a bit of sight if they're peeking it. Alright, now let's look at a split B site smoke execute. This is probably the best strategy on Dust 2, the one that is the most dangerous to counter. So this is where you're going to hit B from the tunnels and the middle area at once. You may have a guy lurking long just to distract. So you have about half your forces in the B tunnels and about half out mid. It depends how easily you get control of each area, depends on how many players you want in each area. And maybe one at long, if you want to. The smokes are going to be for city spawn, and for the door, and for the platform. Molotovs are going to be for fence, car, under window, and the back of plat. You don't have to do all these molotovs, just the ones where you think they're going to be. And the platform smoke is not required either. Neither is the door smoke, so just use what smokes you want to use. The mid to B smoke is required, and this is how to do it. You can go up close mid here, up to the Xbox, and throw a smoke. Most common way to throw mid to B smoke. It lands quite nicely as well. It does leave exposed to door if they're watching from A ramp, so try to jump through window rather than door, and they can jump on the box. You can throw this smoke from close, which leaves a little bit less of a gap, and they can't jump on the box here. To smoke off the platform, you can do this from B tunnels. It doesn't smoke off quite on the platform, but it does allow you to get out with anyone on the platform not noticing, and you can throw flashes through it as well. To smoke off the door, if you're running through the window from mid to B, you can throw this from the tunnels area. This smokes off anyone trying to AWP across A to the door quite nicely. For the fence molotov, you're going to throw this from B tunnels and just wait until they run out if they're there. Platform molotov you can throw as well. This can leave you exposed if there's not a smoke there, so just be careful. Same with the under window molotov, it can leave you exposed again. You can almost molotov the whole of site if you want to, if you've got enough molotovs. And car you can molotov off as well. Alright, now let's have a look at some flashbangs. Get up mid to B, you can throw a flash. just out there, it'll flash any AWPers and anyone playing here. If you're in the lower area, you can flash as well over the top. This will flash anyone playing close, and anyone playing AWPing positions as well. Once you're out mid to B, you can use this wall here to flash if you want to. This will flash people playing door or window quite nicely, or CT. Once you're fully out mid to B, you can throw flashes over B. If your B guys are slightly delayed, this will flash lots of places on the site quite nicely. From B tunnels, you can do a running flash. This will flash a few places on the site. It does pop on the ground, so it won't flash any crouching positions, so just be careful. To flash those crouching positions, you can pop it on top of the box in the middle of the platform there. This will flash all the crouching positions quite nicely. Once you're out here, you can use this wall to flash car if you want to. If you know they're in car, it does leave you exposed while flashing, so just be careful. Alright, now we're going to look at a split A site from CT spawn. This is a difficult strategy, but it can work if your mid to B strategy doesn't work as well. So this is where you're going to go out middle doors, through CT spawn, through the CT ramp to A, short and long, all at the same time. So you're going to have a few guys out mid, a few guys up short, a few guys up long, depending on how easily you can get control of each area. So the smokes are for the left side of middle, for the corner at long, and the molotovs are for site, goose, cubby, and the car area. So this strategy can fail very easily, so just be careful. Let's have a look. So the first smoke is for the corner at long. This allows you to get out long without having to worry about an AWPer being at the corner. And it also allows you into pit without having to worry about people on site dropping you if you're spotting into pit. You can also do the smoke from inside bedroom. Just be careful, if you peek too far here, you can get killed by an AWPer in the side of the shoulder. So make sure you get that right. You want to make it sure so it goes a bit further than the wall, so you can actually be able to jump into pit without them spotting you. For the left side of mid smoke, you can throw this from the Xbox side here. This smokes off the door, and the door only to CT. It does leave a bit of a gap, so just be careful. If you're out mid close, you can do it as well. Again, you got to make sure you run to the right of CT spawn only, otherwise you can be spotted really easily. Molotovs, molotov off cubby, you can do this from short quite nicely. And to molotov off car from long, you can do this quite nicely here, and just wait for them to walk into your crosshair if they're there. The molotov off site, you can do this from long. This molotov is quite exposed, so just be careful. It's probably best to do this one here from short instead. However, this one here, you got to worry about that first box area. Molotov off goose, you can do from short if you want to. It does leave you a bit exposed when molotoving it, so just be careful. Flashes, you can flash from long as well. This flashes any AWPers playing, and it also flashes the pit area. If you're up close to the doors, you can do an underarm throw. This will flash any AWPers and anyone playing close to the blue box spotting. Once you're out long, you can flash across here. This will flash anybody playing goose, CT ramp, or the car area. If you're up short, you can use this wall here to flash over. This will flash anyone playing aggressive goose, anyone playing on site, or anyone playing car area with an AWP. You can use a further across to this wall if you want to. This will flash anybody playing back at car, or anybody playing back at goose. It does leave you a bit more exposed, so just be careful. If you're in CT spawn, you can throw a flash to help out your teammate at long. This will flash lots of places at long here, however it will flash your teammates if they're pushing up, so just be careful. Now let's have a look at some extra grenades. So this smoke here will smoke off middle. This can be thrown from the long doors. It can be good as a fake, or it can be good as a mid smoke if you want to. Just be careful, they can see where it comes from. Also in the long doors, you can throw this smoke here. This smoke will land on Xbox. It's a bit more difficult to throw and it can fail very easily, but it can be useful if you do it right. If you're in middle, You can throw this smoke here, which will smoke off CT ramp. Can be good if you want to fake long, if you're faking out long as well, and you're going to go mid to B. Again from middle, if you want to. You can throw this smoke here. This will smoke off this short smoke area here, allowing you to get out short if you want to, or faking that area. Again from middle here, we have another smoke. This one here will smoke off the edge of long, or the long corner here, allowing you to get out long without having to awful worrying about you, or can be used quite nicely as a fake. This one here can have a bit of problems, so just be careful. If you're in short and you want to help out your friends at long, you can throw this smoke here. This also smokes off the corner, so that's quite nice as well. Now let's have a look at some molotovs. So if you want a molotov off the doors area, you can throw this from Xbox. This molotov's off the closed door. And if you want to follow that up with a molotov for the other side of the door, you can as well. This one does leave you a bit exposed, just be careful. For flashes, you can flash to help out your teammates at long. From middle area, this flashes people at the corner and people playing in the pit quite nicely. You can also do this from short as well. This flashes the pit quite nicely. And back here as well. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.